Put down those select orbs and tune in on your view squares. This is your Presidente da Internet on with the final level of Jewel Master. As you can see above, we've got some Castlevania Ravens there, and they will be attacking us, of course, so we'll proceed slowly and pick them off one at a time. This is all one level leading up to the end boss, but it is a fairly long level, so I'll see if we can't finish up today. Note about those things, the golden cube won't hurt you, but the fire, of course, coming out will. And these skeletons with the flails, they just stand there and swing their flails around in circles, but it is a good idea to treat them with a modicum of respect because they do a ton of damage if you should blunder into one. So be careful not to do that. But, like pretty much everything short of a mid-boss, they will fall to one shot of the blade, so at least they're easy to kill. Pretty much everything's going to be easy to kill from here forward because we've got the ultimate weapon. And ultimate weapons tend to be good for killing. Now, somewhere around here, if I could avoid taking damage, I believe there is a potion. Why isn't my double jump working? There we go. Always makes me nervous passing under this flail here, because even if you do it right, it just barely shaves by your head. But hey, we've got the potion, and that is what matters. Oh, that's another nice thing about the blade, it goes right through walls. Also, you probably noticed this when I was fighting the birds, but the rainbow pellets that come out do damage as well as the big white beam. So you don't have to worry about it not working at close range. Not doing very good bird control here, but it's okay. They're still dying obligingly. Did I get them both there? I guess I did. Now here's a pathetic mid-boss. All you have to do is... Oh, of course, so I get hit by it. All you have to do is hit it once when its mouth is open. Now here I believe if you double jump at just the right time, you can skip a chunk of the level, and I highly recommend doing it if you can. Ah, just made it. Believe me, you're not missing anything. It's just more flails, more flaming cubes, a couple spike traps, and we like to avoid damage. So we're going to take the shortcut where we can. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if I drop down here and take a hit from some fish, there's another potion to bring us up to full life. And that's a very good place to be. Now, if there's a way to avoid damage from these spike traps, I don't know what it is. So, I just kind of take the hits. I could pull out the barrier and mitigate that damage a little bit, but... Destructible wall. There's no harm in falling there if you need to do it to avoid the projectile from that dragon cannon jobby. You won't lose any ground or anything. Let's see, do I need to go up here? No. Compared to the last level, this one is pretty trivial. There aren't a whole lot of places where it's hard to take damage aside from those oddly placed spike traps. You just kind of cruise along. You do kind of have to be mindful for destructible walls and ceilings because they're required to get through the level. But here we've got the Phoenix again. And you might think, oh, a boss rush, but no, it's just a blue palette swap of Suzaku showing up to briefly impede you. And once you're past him, you're into the very final stretch. There are no regular enemies in this section, just a few mid-bosses, and then Jardine himself. It's kind of hard to avoid taking damage from some of the mid-bosses, so you just have to try and minimize it as much as you can so that you have as much as possible left over for Jardine at the end. Each mid-boss represents an element. Here we've got fire. It was quite easy. You just time your little hops and blades in order to destroy his projectiles. This next one, I don't really worry about his attacks very much because there's a place you can stand to avoid being hit, but I can never find it. So, I don't worry about the safe spot too much and just concentrate on killing it as fast as I can. And as you can see, I only took a little bit of damage in the process. That was water, by the way, I'm pretty sure. And next up, welcome to Earth. This is probably the toughest of the lot. He has a big old flail. What you want to do is try and time your jumps so you don't get hit by the ground pounds, and so the flail goes over your head. And that worked out really well. It's really uncommon for me to get past him without taking a hit. Well, that just leaves wind. For this guy, you want to stand close and do short hops, and that'll put you right between his attacks. And wow, I am in really good shape. If I manage to die to Jardine here, then, I don't know. There's something seriously wrong with me. Now, I'll pause for a moment and say that Jardine is the kind of boss where, you just have to know what to do. He's really hard if you go about it the wrong way, and really quite easy if you know what you're doing. So, you're probably, if you're coming into this blind, you're probably going to die once or twice just figuring out his patterns, but once you got him down, really not a big deal. You just have to know when to switch out your rings. Naturally, we'll be using the blade to deal damage to him, but to dodge his attacks or to mitigate them, we'll be switching off our rings every now and then. And here he comes, Jardine the Mad. When you're in your damage-dealing phase, when he's just standing there, you want to stay close. But then he switches into a skull, and it's a good time to break out your barrier, because avoiding contact damage from the skull is a difficult bit of business, and eventually his eyes will darken, and he'll resettle back into his normal form, and you have another damage-dealing phase. But then he starts to flash white, and you want to break out your higher double jump because his next attack is too tall to get over with a normal jump. That thing where he just turns white and barrels into you does tremendous damage, so if you're not confident, you might just want to use the barrier, which will cut the damage as always. Oh, the skull does breathe an iron ball at you, which also does a lot of damage, so luckily I had my barrier up. And that's really about all there is to him. Oops, no, we want double jump. And that is all she wrote. There is no mention in history of the battle waged between the Jewel Master and the forces of evil. This ending music is probably my second favorite track in the game. Nowhere near as cool as the Stage 1 BGM, I think, but while it's a little cheesy, I do find it pretty cool. But legends do speak of 12 magical gems and an ancient kingdom that flourished in peace. Such is the stuff of legends. Well, that's about all there is to be said for Jewel Master. As I said, a fairly boilerplate side-scroller, but an enjoyable one. Fairly short and sweet. My next game is probably going to be a little longer and require a bit more prep work, so I may be quiet for a little while, but you have my assurance I will be back with another edition of I Played a Thing in the foreseeable future. Until then, this has been Unn, and I'd like to thank you for watching. As always, it's been a pleasure. That's Game Hendrix. I'll see you next time.